Hello and welcome to the Tent Podcast, that is to say, the Thriving in Technology Podcast. Your hosts are Sam Moulton and Cecilia Taylor, members of the Influence Marketing Team at NetApp. We're excited to share this special episode with you, recorded during the 2019 Grace Hopper celebration in Orlando, Florida. We're joined on this episode by 3 scholars selected by NetApp to attend GHC. Today we're joined by some special guests for the Grace Hopper celebration, and we're going to allow them to introduce themselves so that we can have a little chat about what we're doing here at this celebration and what their role is in that particular celebration. So I'm going to start, since we're sitting here around the table, we'll just go around the table and start, and we'll have each of you introduce yourselves along with your role. And if you're a scholar, tell us about where you're going to school at and what you're majoring in. And if you're a NetApp staffer, please let us know your role at NetApp and also your participation in the GHC.
Okay, so hi, I'm Zaria. I'm actually going to school at North Carolina A&T, which is in Greensboro, North Carolina, and my major is web design, mixture of graphic design, and recently I've kind of, on my own time, I've gotten into UI UX design.
Excellent. The next up is, I believe, our host, Sam, who's with us.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sam Moulton. You can find me at Sam Moulton on Twitter. And I am happy to be here speaking with all of you lovely people. I think this is a great program, and I can't wait to hear more about it.
My name is Anna Weber. I'm a senior at George Mason University, and my major is events management and marketing.
My name's Lindsay Street. I'm a NetApp employee. I'm currently a portfolio manager for NetApp University, supporting our cloud infrastructure business unit. And for GHC, I am the team lead for the Scholars Program.
Hi, my name is Berlene. I am a sophomore at NYU Tandem. I major in computer science and I'm a minor in math.
My name is Autumn Harris. I'm also a NetApp employee. I work for professional services as a contracts administrator. I'm also a university grad hire, and I was the project manager for the Scholars Program this year.
Okay. Well, you all mentioned that you're scholars and you're working with this program. So could you tell us a little bit, Lindsay, about the program?
I'd be happy to. So the NetApp Scholars Program was born out of an increased sponsorship by NetApp this year at Grace Hopper. So over the last at least 5 years, NetApp has continued to increase our presence at Grace Hopper. And this year, with our sponsorship, came the ability to purchase intern passes. So we purchased 18 intern passes, and we wanted to do something with those passes. And so we came up with the idea of a social media contest. So we put a contest out, and we were hoping we'd get at least 18 responses. And we well exceeded that. I think we got several hundred responses.
Awesome. That's impressive.
I was hesitant to say 1,000, but 1,500, yeah. So then, we were hoping for 18 responses, and we got 1,500 to go through. And we went through all of those applications, and we picked 18 wonderful scholars to represent NetApp here at the conference. And we got very lucky that we chose well.
I am very impressed. I didn't realize that many people had responded, and how cool. Did I know about the social media contest? She holds things back from me. I learn about things in very weird ways well after the fact.
Well, we were able to publish the announcement on our social sharing platform, the NetApp Nation, so that we allowed other employees and partners to share the news of this lovely contest. So we certainly hope, if you're a NetApp person out there, that you would definitely log on to the NetApp Nation, because of course, I got to give a plug for my program. So, one of the things we want to ask each of you as our scholars, and you guys can take turns, and whoever feels comfortable jumping in here right away, is let us know, what were you thinking about this? How did you find out about this particular program? And what led you, what were your expectations for the event?
Okay, so actually I heard about Grace Hopper last year going into this year, and I knew so many people that had talked about at my school of going to Grace Hopper, but I was like, I really don't know if I can afford to go to Grace Hopper, and there's not really, our school doesn't really sponsor females to go. So I was like, I don't really know how I'm going to be able to get there. And so over the summer, I literally missed every application known to man: Google, Twitter, Facebook, everything. I was working a full-time job, and I was also taking calculus. So I was doing so much, I didn't really have time to focus on anything else. And then I think one day I was on Facebook, and I'm a part of NCWIT, National Center for Women in Technology, and I'm in their Facebook group, and one of the people in the group had posted a NetApp Scholars opportunity, and I was like, okay, well, I guess I can apply. I really wasn't even sure if I was going to get it, but here I am a month later. I didn't even think about getting it. I was like, okay, this is not real. When I got the email from Autumn, I was like, okay, is this real?
Is this spam?
Right. Spam. Honestly, that was
Y in her name to think
that was really what I thought. But then I was like, okay, when Autumn started really sending more emails, okay, this is legit. And I was just so happy and so just blessed and grateful for this opportunity that NetApp has given me to come here.
Thank you.
Can I interject with how grateful I am? Because if it wasn't for Cecilia Taylor, I would not be here. She nominated me, so I was one of the lucky nomination winners. Yes, yeah, I got to come, and it's just been amazing.
Within NetApp, we ask for women to, and other, not just women, any of our employees to recommend or nominate someone to attend. And out of 500 submissions, we select only a couple of hundred or even 150 or so to participate in this event. So it's really a wonderful opportunity, and we're certainly hoping that as the years go on and as we expand our role here at the Grace Hopper Celebration, we'll be able to do more of that.
Wow, so that means you guys are some pretty great people.
And I think my husband was actually even more excited than I was. He really recognized what the honor was, and so anyway. But thank you again, Cecilia.
You're welcome.
Can't thank you enough.
Thank you. So, other scholars, speak up.
Yes, so I heard about it through email and through NetApp Nation because I had the NetApp America's public sector field marketing intern over the summer.
Oh,
and
excellent.
yes, so I heard about it through an email, and I said, I'm going to take a shot. I've heard incredible things. Megan Steele, who runs SLED and for public sector, she sits a few feet away from me, and she said, are you applying? Make sure you apply. My mentor said, apply. Everybody who sat around me said, apply, apply, apply. So I applied. I sent in my resume and that little blurb, and here I am. I'm really grateful for this opportunity.
Wonderful.
I had the same, is this a junk email? Did I actually get it? Reaction, which was pretty exciting. So
Excellent.
thank you.
So I heard about Grace Hopper when I was their program at Girls with Code.
Mhm.
So every year I used to apply to scholarships, I get rejected, apply and rejected. And this year I was like, do I really want to apply again? And I was like, I just gave it a shot, and I found the NetApp scholarship through the Girls with Code Facebook page.
Excellent.
So I applied, and I was like, I know I'm gonna get rejected. But then I got the email like, wait, this is real. And then I saw Autumn was blowing up my phone. I was like,
Autumn was blowing up our phone all through the summer.
From yes, you got it to here.
Yes.
Autumn.
Right.
So clearly you can see the program would not have been a success without Autumn.
Right. It just shows how great of, communicators you guys are.
Thank you. Thank you.
Because it is a lot of work. I mean, you have, everybody has a regular day job, and so adding that on top of it is pretty significant. So it's really, I applaud you for your, follow through and your efforts and your enthusiasm.
It was nice. I wasn't getting home until 8 o'clock at night. Deer were frolicking around my car. And I was like, ooh, how do I go home? But on top of just extra, because I was like, this has to be great. It's the first year. I'm like, these girls are amazing. So, I have to give all that energy back.
Yeah.
So,
You know what happens when you do a really good job?
Next year has to be even better.
No, I was just going to say, you're going to get asked to do it again.
So I would like to add that NetApp's Grace Hopper, all of the efforts that go into it are all volunteer. So NetApp has marketing teams that do events and whatnot, but they don't do Grace Hopper. So it's all volunteer effort, all in addition to our daily jobs, that makes Great Hopper happen for NetApp.
One of the things I wanted to ask you, each of our scholars, is, what did you, since we're now almost at the end of the session, we're almost at the end of the week,
Flew
this
by.
wonderful thing has flown by. What were you surprised by when you got here? What really made the most impact on you while you were here?
Like I was surprised by when I went to career fair, I just did the whole wow. Like I've been to a lot. I've been to I'm a part of NSP, so I've been to I was a PCI in high school, so I've been in NSP conferences. But Grace Hopper, I was like, wow, oh my gosh, there's so many companies, and this is the first time I've heard of on-site interviews.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I was really impressed about. But then also sometimes I kind of had a negative experience. Okay, so I did 3 interviews on Tuesday, not Tuesday week.
I
did an interview with Facebook Square and Usual. And the day after that, I did an interview with NetApp. I got rejected from Facebook. And then after I finished my interview with NetApp, I went to the career fair, and I became very, very frustrated. And that's because I have a resume I can show you later. I have a resume full of experiences, all the skills I learned because I love learning so much that I just learned a lot of stuff. And I go to a recruiter. And I talked to the recruiter about what I do, and the recruiter was like, what's your GPA? I'm 2.8. They're like, oh, I'm sorry, but we only have a cutoff at 3.0 because we have a cutoff because this is the only thing that we judge students on. I'm like, well, it looks like my resume went to waste then.
That really bothers me too, because a lot of people don't understand the circumstances behind GPAs, and that doesn't necessarily mean that I wasn't trying or anything like that.
Exactly.
Sometimes things just don't work out. Things are hard.
Things happen.
There's a lot of other
Life
things
happens.
going on. I'm like,
My sophomore year in college was very difficult. I don't know what it was. My freshman year, I felt like I kind of sailed through it. Sophomore year, ooh, not good. And then I picked up again in my junior and senior year, so I ended up with a decent GPA. But it is unfair if that's the only thing you're being judged on.
Yeah, and I would say this, I would say don't let one rejection kind of get you to stop applying for other things. I know that's what stopped me for a long time, but honestly, I know last semester was really, really hard for me, and I ended up suffering for it, but this semester I've really tried my best to just stay focused, and school and work has been my top priority, and if they see that you're trying, and honestly, if they only see your GPA, then that just shows how much they care.
Yeah.
You want a company that really sees your other skills and looks beyond that, and it's okay, yeah, her grades, aren't that bad, but hey,
look at all the stuff she's doing.
Yeah, look at all the other great things that you're doing, and I feel like that should outweigh sometimes your academics. Now, you should do well in school, but I feel like that shouldn't be the biggest determining factor.
And you know what? You've now been introduced to a whole community of women who will want to help you, and take advantage of that. Reach out to people. If there's a subject that you're struggling with, or some barrier that's keeping you from raising your GPA, reach out to people. This is an amazing group of women. And when I back in the old days, when I was in college, or even when I started my career, it was a real disadvantage to be a woman. I've been in tech my entire career, and it's always been a struggle. You guys are coming into it in a much better time. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's a titch easier.
The one thing that, it's important to remember is when you're interviewing, and whether you're doing this as an internship or even in any future interview, you're interviewing that company the same way that they're interviewing you. Because there's you want to work in a place that has a culture that's accepting and open and friendly, and a place where you're going to want to be there to work. So when you're going through these interview processes, remember that you are bringing something to them. So you kind of getting something from them.
Yeah.
So if you don't feel that you don't feel that warm fuzzy feels, and you feel like if they're only using a superficial type of criteria, if they're using a superficial criteria in the hiring, you will find that same type of attitude when you actually go into the workplace.
Yep.
So you want to enjoy where you work. You want to love what you do, but you also want to love the people you're doing it with. One of the things I love about NetApp
Is
the
me.
fact that
Oh, wait.
She's just saying. I love Sam, but I love the people. I have met so many people at NetApp that have really encouraged me and inspired me. And I love coming to events like Grace Hopper because I get to meet some of the colleagues that I talk to on the phone or that that I'm in a conference
Like a
with.
game, match the face.
Right. Try not to stare at that badge too hard.
But I get to enjoy these people, these women and men who are really wonderful to work with on projects and to work in things. So it's just a wonderful thing to be able to know when I come to work that I'm enjoying what I'm doing. So it's not just about my personal development, but it's about what we do together.
And do you have a mentor?
You mean in NetApp or like outside?
Well, anywhere. I mean, do you have anyone that you can talk to about the challenges that you're having?
Yeah.
You do. Good. Okay. Good.
That's one thing that I experienced when I came here. You had mentioned how big it is. I was so overwhelmed at first.
Yeah.
There are 25,000 people here, and that's overwhelming. There are hundreds of booths, hundreds of sessions, hundreds of people in each session, and it's overwhelming because how do you even pick what to go to? And it's just overwhelming. It's a lot to sort through. So I had my mentor from this summer and then another mentor on the NetApp crew, Claudia and Bridget, shout out to them. But I got to sit down with them and kind of talk through oh my gosh, this conference is so big. I'm learning so much. There's so many people that I'm talking to, and how do I sit down, sort through these things and take it all in just bit by bit?
Yeah, I mean, Cecilia had told me what this was like as she attended last year, but I was blown away. I mean, that line waiting to get into the career fair or the expo, whatever.
It was a mob.
I was lucky. I got lucky.
How did you get lucky?
I got lucky for registration, courtesy of my mentors, Miss Cecilia.
Oh, right. And she brought you a smoothie or something too.
Yes, she's so sweet. No, she really is. Especially because I saw the lines at registration and I knew a couple of my friends that stood in line for hours, and I felt bad because I was like, well, I didn't stand in line for 3 hours.
I actually felt guilt for not standing in line.
Right. I was like, I watched all the people and I had my little badge and people still didn't have their badge and they're waiting in
stare at
line.
you when you walk by, like,
as they're
how?
walking. Yes. And I was like, Hyatt Regency Center, you should probably go. It's no line.
Hyatt Regency will like that shout out.
Yes.
We'd like to also thank them for helping us facilitate this podcast. So,
23rd floor.
23rd floor. So tell me this. If there was one thing that you could change about the conference or change in your experience at the conference, other than your specific example, what would you change? Any one of you can jump in and just throw it out.
I have a big change.
Yes.
They should have registration at each of the at the hotels.
Oh, that would be so much
So
easier.
then, when you go to register for your hotel room, they ask you are you going to Grace Hopper? Yes. Take your ID. You register at the same time you register your room. Boom. That's it.
That would be interesting. Yes.
And they should have all the companies should, when you put in your resume in the database, they should also try to see if they can have you can pre-register for on-site interviews, because one of my friends who are also a NetApp scholar, she's getting interviews from MasterCard and all the other stuff. But I just wonder is there a way to know which companies doing registration for
They're pre-scheduling interviews
Yeah.
ahead of time. I believe that each company handles it slightly differently.
Mm-hmm.
So there are some companies, and unfortunately, there's so many options to choose from.
Yeah.
You have to figure out beforehand. You kind of almost have to do your research to know which ones that you are, whether they're pre-scheduling.
Yeah, before you get here.
Yeah.
Or if they're actually just handling them on site or off site.
I didn't look, but did they provide a list of companies who were going to be here?
Yes.
And on the
It was on the
website.
website.
I'm not looking for a job, so I wasn't looking. Just making that clear. All right, you have a question?
No, I didn't have a question. We were just having such a good conversation. I almost forgot to tell you what my experience was coming here.
Oh, do tell us.
So like you both, when I came in here, it was absolutely overwhelming, but also so refreshing, honestly, seeing all those women And especially because yesterday I went to this Black women's luncheon reception, and that was absolutely refreshing too as well. It's always great to be around women, but it's also great to be around women that are just like you and have the same like experiences, especially because they're older and they've been in the tech field a lot longer than you. And so being able to go to these sessions and having Grace Hopper provide us with the opportunities to gain more knowledge, but also being around women that have experiences and that can help you through that process. Because I'm just in the beginning of it. So really having those people in your corner and how supportive like everybody is, it's so amazing. Even the companies, it's a lot different than a regular career fair that you have at your school. Because I think I went to this company in my school and I was like, I'm not going to go to them here. Like, they didn't like me. So why am I going to go here? And then one of my friends was like, no, you should go. It's a lot different. You know, sometimes like when they're at their school, they're only looking for a specific thing. But when they're here, like they're looking for everybody. So especially because you're at a female conference, so they're looking for you. And I went and they absolutely loved me. And it was just great to finally, in a way, like feel accepted, because sometimes you don't always feel that way. And it's kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like
Off-putting?
Yes, and almost like it just breaks down your confidence. I've gotten so many rejections. I can't even tell you how many from companies that I've applied for, and it almost like makes you like, okay, why do I even want to work there? Or why do I want to keep on applying when I'm just going to get rejected? But you kind of have to force yourself to kind of keep moving, because that's the only way that you're going to grow. And that's the only way that you're going to get those opportunities to get those internships, whether it be at that same place you're applying or somewhere else, because that somewhere else might be better.
You're going to find throughout your career, what you're experiencing now is just the beginning. You will go through many times, but the thing is, you're looking for one, because you can only do one job.
Yeah.
So it's that one yes that negates 1,000 no's.
Yeah.
So
Delay is not denial all the time. So, you know, something will come up and it'll be the right time. And it has to be right, because you might not be ready to receive it. You might not be ready to go through whatever you have to go through to get where you have to be, but it has to be the right timing. You have to be in the right headspace. So when your time comes, you'll be like, wow, I would not have been ready for that.
Yeah.
10 months ago or whatever the timing is.
One of the things that I would change about the Grace Hopper Conference is I'm a non-technical person in a very technical industry. And this conference has been really targeted towards technical individuals. So I'll walk up to a booth and they'll be a non-technical company like Target or something, and I'll say, oh yes, so I'm looking for non-technical roles, marketing or business development. Do you have someone that I can speak with about that? I'm looking for positions coming up, yada, yada, yada. And then they will say to me, you're at a technology conference, sorry. And it's that kind of on-the-spot rejection in their booth with their recruiters.
Yeah.
And it's fine, because I recognized shortly after a little bit that, okay, I am at a technology conference. They're only hiring right now for engineers or coders or people who really speak these languages. But one thing that I would say is to have maybe one recruiter or a little bit more representation for non-technical roles.
And I think they need you guys. Like, without you guys, everything wouldn't, like, I feel like they go hand in hand. And I feel like that's something that I came across, even though I'm more of a design role that's still in technology. A lot of them were like, well, we don't really have your roles here, or we didn't bring that person. I'm like, okay, well, you're supposed to be open to all roles, so why didn't you bring them with you? Even if it was like a small 100 or 200, there's still people that are looking for those roles. And I feel like that kind of turns some people away, like, okay, so I guess you're only privy towards this, you know? So I definitely agree with you. I feel like there should be more representation for non-technical roles, because even I was finding like I want to, you know, I'm into web design, and some companies actually put their web design in their marketing. And so I didn't even realize that. And so they're like, oh, well, we didn't bring our marketing team here. I think it was, not going to say the company, but like we didn't bring our marketing team here. And so that kind of disappointed me, like, okay, next company, because I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm not going to apply because I can't really gain any more information or any help of what to do. And sometimes the role that they say they are, like if you're looking for a web design position, but then when you look online, it's named totally different. So you really don't know what to apply for.
Yes.
And I think having that recruiter there actually helps you guide you through that and what to look for. So yeah, I would definitely agree with you on that.
I think that's disappointing, though, if they wouldn't even still, whatever recruiter is attending, would not still take the time to speak with you, provide you with a contact name, of the recruiter who could help you. That seems very short-sighted.
And it shocked me a little bit that people wouldn't. Some people were, I'll take your resume, I'll write marketing on it, and I'll hand it to somebody when I get back. And I appreciated that, but I would have loved to still have a conversation about company culture. What are you doing?
Yes,
what are you pushing?
I agree with that.
And I mean, was it because the booths were just so darn busy that they, wanted to try to, pass you guys along quickly?
I think that may have factored in for some of them, but others, I think that people were very single focused on what they were looking for, and they know we need 3 engineers coming out of this conference. That's what we've been told.
Yeah,
to
so
get.
they were probably gold right before they came here. They were told, you better come back with XYZ.
Yes.
So they had to be maybe more focused. But I've also noticed that, didn't also notice, but I did notice that the agenda was very skewed towards technical people as well. I had a little bit of a challenge finding sessions that were of interest to me as a marketer. So
I think that as they grow this conference and as it expands,
does it need to get any bigger?
Yes, it does.
Apparently.
Yes, it does.
It does. It needs to address women where they are in technology, because there are plenty of people in marketing and in finance and in business development that work in professional services.
That help with technology.
Yes.
Yes.
Legal, everything.
In them, that work in. I mean, we work for a
Sales,
technology company,
Sales
but
is a huge part.
we're working in coalesce
You're
with
women in tech.
engineering.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, even if you're a salesperson or a marketer, you are a woman and you're in technology. You could be marketing a robotic arm for medical technology, like a biotech company.
That's
but
important.
You're in technology.
Yes.
And I felt this wall sometimes from
I think
people.
I found you when we were.
I had
walking
faced
around.
like 3 rejections, and I was like, Autumn, I can't do this. And we walked around to a couple together and had
We're
some
not
good
going to do this. We're not going to give up. We're going to go scan in these lines, and somebody's going to talk to you, and this is what we're going to do.
Yes,
So.
and so I appreciated that.
I think that as we go forward, and I think one of the spirit of this conference is the fact that we're going to go together. We need to go together.
Yes.
And we need to empower each other. And the one thing that we can't afford really to have is that division or that fissure in even perceiving of what a woman in technology is.
Yes.
So we need to basically address not just the college hire and the university graduate, but also the advanced professional, the one who's in a mid-career, so that we're as inclusive as possible. So that we're able to get to that goal 50-50 by 2025 by being as inclusive as we possibly can.
Yeah, when I first joined NetApp, I heard about WIT and I thought I was, automatically disqualified, even though I'd been in tech my entire career. But, I thought it was defined as you were doing something, you were very connected to the technology. And of course I am, but not in the same way that, that you scholars are. Well, you're in my boat.
Yes.
Yep.
But
So
we're also helping to sell that. We're helping to market it. We're helping to make the messaging so that people who are in technology are able to purchase and or sell and or use the products in which our company manufactures.
yeah, and
Yes, it's
the
enablement.
the
It's
women,
enabling.
yeah, the women in NetApp New England, which is where I'm based, they were, oh no, absolutely, we want you to come on board, and I try to help out with the WIT events, and guess what I do? I write emails and I schedule things, and because I'm not going to be involved in that, the more technical aspect of it, but we all have work to do, right? We all have a place.
We all have a function and something that we can do. So tell us.
Yeah, and then like also like 2 more comments to make. Like first, also kind of fix up the site because my sessions got deleted when I appeared.
Oh yes.
They got deleted?
Yes.
How?
They got deleted.
Yeah, they would delete people from sessions if they were overbooked, and it was like, okay.
They deleted all of my sessions I spent 2 hours trying to put together.
Oh no.
And then second, you need to have more empathetic recruiters because because I'm from New York City, and if you're not a New Yorker, you see that all of us have straight faces. So I went up to a recruiter, and I was talking to him. He's like, you sound very monotone. You need to smile some more. And I'm just like,
we are all kinds of people here. Come on, you're a recruiter. You should be a little bit more opening.
And there are some recruiters that have kind of had a monotone, I don't care attitude with me. So, I could be saying the same thing. I even said in an interview, actually, I was like, at the end of the day, even though you guys are trying to look for me and you're trying to see how I best fit, I'm trying to see how you best fit me, because at the end of the day, it's a partnership in a way. I want to make sure that I am enjoying my time with you guys just as much as you guys want me to be here. Why am I supposed to be here? And I feel like when you go up to these booths, you can see the culture of the company when you talk to a recruiter.
Absolutely.
And so that's what I go by. Previously, actually, when I go back home, I had my second round interview. The one thing that I talked to my recruiter in my interview was I said, when we first spoke, when I came up to the booth, I knew that the culture was going to be great at that company just because the energy that you brought when we were having our conversation. It made me feel comfortable, and it made me say, okay, if he's acting this way, then the rest of his company, that should show forth and represent for how the rest of their company is. And so that's what made me be like, okay, of course I want to interview for you. Don't think that you're doing them a favor. Like, oh, I'm interviewing. It's a mutual thing. It goes
and let's face it, a lot of women in tech, a lot of people in tech are introverts. I myself am an introvert. So Cecilia and I can turn it on when we need to, because we've learned to do that over the years. But if you're, these big crowds, and it's pretty overwhelming,
By the end of this week, I've been the headphone walker because there's just too many people, too much going on.
That should be taken into account. But if they're not trained that way, or they're not taught to respect the diversity, then that's probably not a place you want to be at.
So was there anything that I didn't ask that maybe you would like to volunteer for? Because, this is for the Apple, the Spotify.
The Apple.
The Apple and the Spotify.
I like to give some advice to the recruiters out there. Like, please just don't look at us as like just one person or just a number. We're all different. We're diverse. We have different skills to put that at the table. Just because our grades aren't looking good, ask us why our grades aren't looking good.
Yeah.
Some of us could be parents. We work in many jobs. We could have problems that you don't see us putting on forward.
It may not be a great test taker. There's a lot of people that just don't take tests well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then if you don't see us acting right, maybe we have some problems. Like for me, I have social anxiety, so it's like a hard time for me to look somebody in the face. It's a hard time for you to talk to somebody. So just be very aware and be very gentle and empathetic to people when you're talking to them, because we're also interested in working with you. And if you show that you're empathetic to us, we will show that kind of empathy towards you.
Well, I'm going to say, for you, given what you've just said, for you to do this podcast, that's very impressive. Because I spent a lot of time our first few podcasts being extremely nervous and anxious. So, this is a new experience for you, and you're doing exceptionally well.
Well, I had another question.
Mm-hmm.
I was curious, is there any advice you would give to someone who is potentially going to be a scholar for us next year? Things they should know.
Good question.
Yes, that is a very good question. So for a scholar for next year, I would say if you are able to go to Grace Hopper on NetApp, congratulations, first of all. And second of all, don't be afraid to, one, ask the hard questions. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Be confident in what you know, because your skills are you. And honestly,
You're unique.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
you're unique.
You're a whole.
Did you say badass? Badass self. Can we say that? Badass self?
Apparently we can.
Wait, I think the Bible.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
So it's bad, so put it together.
And I think that you guys are amazing women, and you should feel strong and empowered to be here, and you are meant to be here. You're meant to be in tech, and you shouldn't feel uncomfortable, and you are around some amazing women. Get a mentor, talk to lots of people, but also have fun, enjoy yourself. This is a conference, but you can enjoy yourself around very beautiful, talented, intelligent women.
I have actually a suggestion. For next year, why not take some of the scholars and buddy them up with some of the new scholars that are coming? I'm not necessarily saying that, we may not be able to afford to send last year's scholars again, but, share email addresses or phone numbers or whatever, and, make it an opt-in if that, the new scholar wants to.
Staying in touch. Like, I think y'all aren't just going to go get on that little plane and just leave our lives.
Right.
I love you guys. You guys have been so great to us, and especially not gonna cry, but the mix and mingle and getting to know you guys. And what was it, the first night we had the little Top Golf event?
That was fun.
Yeah. But I think the mix and mingle, I really got to see you guys' culture and really understand, you guys are some really caring people. And honestly, the fact that you guys care about us shows that you care about us if we start to work for you or intern for you guys. And that's really important for me, especially when Autumn had introduced us to two of the VPs and how humble they were and so loving and so open to us, and just grateful that we were here. I was I'm grateful that I'm here, so that meant a lot to me, and that was okay, this is a great company to work for and just to be a part of.
Excellent, thank you.
Yes.
We want you to do well. We want you to come work for NetApp or be with NetApp or be associated with NetApp, but we care about you. One of the things I can say as a mentor, as a selected mentor, is that if you need me for anything, don't hesitate to call me, whether or not you come work for us or you go work for a different company. Doesn't matter. We're here and we want to care about you, and that is how we support other women. That is how we're supportive. Not just by showing, by talking the talk, but walking the walk.
And then also some other advice I would give is meet the other scholars virtually. Meet them virtually, talk with them, figure out what they are, who they are before they come, and have that conversation with them, and then start a group chat with
bond
them.
ahead of time.
Bond ahead of time. I think that would be
I saw Jordan as one of the other scholars, and when I was in line, we were texting each other, where are you? And I saw her from across the room, had never seen her in person before, and we just gave each other a big hug, and you just felt like you were in the same position.
Right.
And build that network. If you're around your teammates, talk to them. Have a buddy. If you're having a really terrible time at the career fair, find Autumn. She'll walk with you.
Yes. Autumn is
we're
great.
We're gonna have to clone Autumn.
There's gonna need to be more of you. But also some technical schedule ahead of time sort of things.
Yeah.
Jump on the app, do your registration, plan out your flights, have everything printed out, have tons of resumes, be ready to be bold, dress professionally, but for the evening things, dress in your t-shirts, for the NetApp t-shirts, all that kind of stuff. Just be part of the team. Put the time and effort in beforehand, because all of us I think have said at one point or another, it's overwhelming when you get here.
Yeah.
So put in the work beforehand to know what you're coming into as best you can.
And I gotta say, all three of you look amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Very professional, very nice, very Apple. Very nice presentation from all of you.
And do you have any advice for incoming scholars for this lovely program?
So first I'd like to say congratulations. You're awesome. You're on the right track. And some tips, you should as soon as you get an email that says that the registration database is open.
Go. Don't even wait till the nighttime, because I waited that day at night and half the slots were full. Go in as soon as they open.
Also, on that note, if there's a session that you really want to go to, like the mentoring circles was something that I really wanted to do, that filled up in 2 seconds, and there was 2 of them. I went and an hour before the event, I brought a book with me and I sat down and I waited for the full hour, and I was the 3rd person on the wait list, and I got in almost immediately. So if there is something you really, really, really do want to go to and you didn't get the registration, it doesn't matter. Just go wait in line, get there early so you know you will get a spot. But at least the first 20 to 30 people on the wait list usually get in. So don't be afraid if you don't get that registration.
Because it's like the like 10 minutes before the event starts, they release like all registrations basically, so it doesn't matter if you registered or not.
Yep.
You're gonna be in the same line anyway.
That's right. And I noticed in the app, if you see a session that says capacity full, you can set a reminder. And it will text you before that session, even though it won't come up on your schedule as a session.
Huh, I did not know that.
I forgot about that.
What?
I did. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah, I didn't know that.
Well, I'd like to thank all of you for participating on this podcast. I know that we've had a really long week and it's been really full of energy
I don't want to go back
and
to school.
activities.
What did you say?
I said I don't want to go back to school.
Gotta get that piece of paper so you can
I
move
think
on.
Yes.
Thank you for taking the time to record this podcast with us.
Thank you for inviting
Really
me.
appreciate
Yes,
it.
I really hear. Yeah.
I'm really happy about this.
Yeah, and it's amazing. I feel like we built, even in this room in this past, hour and a half, a great community, even in this room now. I know I have, 1, 2, 3, 4 more people that I didn't know before that I can go to
Absolutely,
now. I've connected with.
absolutely.
Well, we thank you for everything, and we thank you for us, our NetApp Lindsay and Autumn for being on the Apple with us. I can't forget. The Spotify,
and
Google Podcasts,
The NetApp.
the NetApp.
But not the YouTube.
Not the YouTube.
Once it gets together.
What if YouTube had a podcast?
Don't make suggestions. Those folks.
I do want to say before, I'm sorry, go ahead. But before we leave and like finish up, I do want to say like getting to know the scholars. Y'all are some of the most amazing people I've ever met. I'm never gonna forget y'all ever. You built something that has changed my entire life. So thank you. Like y'all are all amazing. You're exactly where you're supposed to be.
Oh my God. You're not gonna make me cry because I love Autumn so much.
Autumn is your best friend.
Yes,
Scholars of the
Autumn is
future.
your best friend.
Autumn is your best friend. You can email
Answer
her
my
about
text.
anything.
Yeah. No, like Autumn is really great. She makes sure you get to your. I know she was like, please make sure you text me when you get back to your room. I want to make sure you guys get there safe. And I think I had like forgotten I was getting settled. She was like, did you make it back in? I was like, yes, did.
And that's amazing. I had people texting me every night because I would walk to and from. I was in the Hilton. It was a long walk.
Oh yes,
and I'd
it
walk
is so.
all of it, and everyone was like, "Are you alive? Did you make it?
Right.
Are you okay?" Yes.
All
thank
of
you.
the Uber, license plates. Like, oh man, are you getting?
Yes.
What's your name?
It's in Florida. They don't have it on the front. I know. So you guys like walk around to the
Yeah,
back.
it's a little weird.
Yeah.
That's a North Carolina thing too.
Yeah,
I'm really used to that.
I was like, oh,
That's a good tip too, to include, this instruction around the Lyft, because Cecilia has to guide me on the Lyft and Uber thing, because I'm just not a Lyft and Uber girl.
Let them say your name first. Read the license plate.
Yeah,
If you
Don't
feel
say their
safe,
name.
Don't get in. Yeah, don't say their name at all.
and if this car smells like cigarette smoke,
Get out.
close the door.
No thanks.
You don't have to get in the Uber if it's a creepy Uber driver.
Yeah.
And before we go, I want to make sure, I want to get everybody's names and contact information. So I'm
Yes,
going to
of course.
pull out my notebook so we can stay in touch.
Follow me on LinkedIn.
Maybe
too.
we can do another
Follow-up.
episode
Yeah.
in a few months as you guys are graduating and
Yes.
stuff.
We all do. Zoom is wonderful. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's the best.
All right.
It is very, very, I'm sorry, I've got to keep going for one more second, but I do love the energy that you get when you stop looking at me like that, when you're doing it in the same room. I mean, Zoom is great, but this has just been amazing. Yeah.
Thank you. That's a wrap for this episode of the Tent Podcast. We'd like to thank Berlin, Zaria, Anna, along with Autumn and Lindsay for joining us today for this special Grace Hopper episode. To our listeners out there, we know you have a bunch of podcasts you could be listening to, so we appreciate the time you take to spend with us. We hope you'll add us to your list of must-listen-to podcasts. We'd love to hear your feedback. What works? What doesn't? What would you like to hear about in our next episode? We encourage you to email us at ngtentpodcast@netapp.com with your comments and questions. Thanks again for listening. Until next time.